Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play Blades of Avernum. Last episode, we made our way into the basement down here. Found some strange creatures that seem to be draining power out of these machines. And we also found this book which happened to tell us exactly what is going on. This was an experimentation hall of sorts, involved in creating inverted magic fields. Basically fields that would drain magic. And someone came up with the bright idea of making creatures who could generate this. Yeah. It wasn't a big disaster that happened, it was just brought to the point where they got too intelligent. The guy in charge, who was the only guy left, decided, yeah, I'm afraid I need to kill them, and went one last time to go look at them before killing them. Obviously, it didn't stick. And they are very powerful. Anyway, we've got a hall here. We don't have many torches. Well, that doesn't really show much. We know that I know that to the south there's more of those creatures. It's this way. Whoa. Hello. Okay, there's more of them in here. Okay. You know what, let's try looking to the south then. Just can't hit these guys enough. Jeez. There's gotta be a way to get through this. Jesus! How am I supposed to deal with this? Bloody hell. Alright, let's ignore that and just go all the way up. Really? Healed for 0 on a successful first aid. Yeah, that's what I want to happen. There is another potion here, though, which I need. God damn it! He's storing again! Actually, I still feel we should try and get through here while we still have the ability. Healed for 6. Well, it's something. We just don't have anything else here. Potion of alacrity, fire drought. We don't have any way to keep ourselves alive. No defensive potions, nothing. Only the alacrity, which I feel we may end up having to use. Jesus, they have as much chance to hit me as I do, but... Ugh. Maybe I should try this scroll, whatever it is. I don't know what it does, but it has to do something. This area is very frustrating. summoned up illusions. Distracted a bit, but that's it. God damn it. How do they expect me to get through here? I can't even use that potion to keep myself warm so I don't keep taking damage. This is getting ridiculous. Okay, come on. Successful first aid healed me to 1. And down I go. Jeez! And for the record, while I do have the idea of run back into the tunnel, I'm pretty sure that won't work. Actually, it might. Okay, this could actually work then. That could actually work, though. Deal with them one at a time. This could work. Oh, come on! Twice? The idea is working. The idea is sound. The last of those terrible creatures dies, with it goes the pall that had fallen over the room. The machinery that's still functioning puts out a brighter and steadier beam, and the center console now has enough power to beam energy up through the ceiling. Again, you aren't sure what good this will do you, but it might be an accomplishment. Plus, the less of those creatures that are bound to harass the group, the better. Not that it's your most pressing concern. Alright. Looks like there's actually nothing out here. I mean, it did something good. I have to use this rejuvenation elixir, the last one I have. Okay. Now I know there's some in here, so let's deal with them. Yeah, I'm about to die. Or maybe not. I don't want to use this healing poultice so soon. And it drained me of my statuses. A resistance ring. Well, it is a boost. And we're about to die anyway. Go ahead, kill me! Thank you. Oh, this is frustrating. Try this again. There we go. Okay. Now grab these, so we at least have something. This book is blank. Not destroyed like most of this tower is, or left unreadable by age and decay as is expected of a 100-year-old paper. The pages are simply blank, as though erased without a mark left behind. For obvious reasons, this makes it less than useful. However, when you lift the large tome from the pedestal, you find a small black journal beneath. You blow off some dust and crack open the cover. The owner was a wizard by the name of Gavriel, who worked in the research facilities on this tower. Open it. Radian 23 of the year 618. Of late, it feels like the staff is in a great tug-of-war. On one side stands Dr. Hadal and his team. On the other side stands Wizard Lionel, each pulling for a greater portion of the budget from Director Jameson. Our landlords above have actually taken some notice of us, and have recognized the great potential of Cryoprev by making it standard issue for all miners and soldiers. A huge success for our team, and Dr. Hadal in particular. So for now, at least, the matter seems settled. Project 131 is getting increased funding and staffing, as Cryoprev fever seems to be spreading through the facilities. Everybody feels we are on the verge of something great. Lionel is the lone exception. He continues to work tirelessly on his disruptors. The man is undoubtedly a genius, and his passion is admirable. A pity both projects can't continue. At least now I won't have to see him walking those monstrosities through the facilities. All his talk about inverted fields and electromagnetic sensitivity do nothing to change the fact that his creations give people the willies. Empire 10. Deaths and lost limbs have decreased among the miners by 75% since Cryoprev was introduced as standard issue. The directors above are ecstatic. With winter coming, this is great news. It's kinda hard to believe that it even works. The function of Cryoprev is that it massively accelerates the metabolism, burning all fat, food, and energy reserves into almost pure heat. With a steady supply of nutrition, even the most frostbitten miner can recover. Okay, that's promising. Icefall 10. If there is anything an alchemist learns first, it's that accelerating a reaction isn't necessarily a good thing. Our research on glowing nettle has been insufficient, and now it seems our overzealousness is coming back to haunt us. But I get ahead of myself. Some startling and disturbing events have transpired since I last wrote. We originally learned that Cryoprev recipe from a native tribe, and immediately saw its potential for treatment of freeze and frostbite victims. While it did a remarkable job of preventing frostbite and hypothermia, it had relatively little value in treating symptoms that had already developed. Add a catalyst, and bam! You've got Cryoprev. Glowing nettle is hardly just any catalyst, and we weren't fool enough to mix it into a brew without caution. The amounts were carefully observed and calculated. But alas, we just didn't know enough. In light of the recent deaths, Cryoprev has been pulled from all clinics and all doses recalled. The team is working overtime to figure out what went wrong, but it looks grim. We walk the hallways like zombies. I haven't slept in days. We even convinced Lionel to put aside his disruptors to aid us. Fate knows we need some fresh perspective. I'm going to get some sleep now before I collapse. Icefall 22. Project 131 has been put on ice for now. Despite Dr. Hadal's pleas, the director has made his decision. Hadal was crushed, and has lost a great deal of respect around here, but cryoprep just wasn't salvageable. All spare labor and resources have been shifted to Lionel's project. He has accepted graciously the aid of those who once scorned his work. Now that I've set aside my revulsion for the creatures, these disruptors have become strangely fascinating. A biological creature of absorbing, indeed living, off of magical energy. The idea is as practical as it is novel. While we were all working on developing cryoprev, Lionel has been working tirelessly with these creatures. He moved his quarters to be adjacent to his work area, and ever since he's practically lived in the lab. Empire 1. Big news. Due to the declining yield of the mines and the cryoprev incidents, the mines have been deemed unprofitable. Without the mines to protect, the Empire no longer needs a presence in the Rim, and Amonsul serves no purpose. We in the research facilities, however, have evolved into our own entity separate from the operation above. Most of our researchers have elected to stay behind to work independently. This means that we will no longer receive any Imperial funding. But every cloud has a silver lining, and although we've lost the majority of our funds, we no longer have to fritter away our time on mining projects. All our efforts have been turned towards the Disruptor project. The creatures have come a long way in terms of stability, strength, and intelligence, but I still can't look at them without shivering. Lionel has been raving about their sensitivity to magical and electrical forces, but we hadn't come up with a good way to test it until just yesterday. We put a disruptor, a wizard, and our machinery for detecting magical fields. The wizard, Bernard, prepared a small spell. Sure enough, the disruptor detected the nearly imperceptible energy gathering around Bernard before the machinery could. Astounding! Frost 3. After a flurry of activity these last months, the Disruptor project nears completion. The creature's sensitivity and absorption abilities have become phenomenal. The only thing that holds the project back is Lionel's insistence on trying to engender higher intelligence in the creatures. So far, the best we've obtained is the ability to solve simple puzzles and recognize patterns. Disappointing, but Lionel insists that they are only a few tweaks away from sentience. When you look in their small glassy eyes, you can't help but feel on some level that they're already there. They seem to stare into your very mind. We are almost ready to go public with our Disruptor project, which has brought up some controversial questions. Firstly, and most important to an all-wizard research team, is what if this technology fell into the wrong hands? The creatures are completely impervious to magic and can detect a caster from miles away. Wizards would be completely helpless against a disruptor, and hiding from one would mean giving up casting magic forever. The disturbing question was first spoken aloud a few days ago, although now that it's come to the surface I realize that this is, in some part, what is so repulsive about the creatures from the start. The mage hunter idea has us all on edge, and has caused heated debate. Lionel wants to carry on, but general opinion is beginning to turn against him. Everybody is at each other's throats. Evermoon 13. A dozen wizards left in disgust yesterday. This disruptor issue is tearing us apart. They'd been threatening to depart for weeks in an attempt to convince Lionel to abandon the project. I don't know what this means for our facilities as a whole. The departure of some of Lionel's most outspoken opponents hasn't improved the mood here at all. Nobody has done any work in a month. We can't even look at a disruptor without cringing. The creatures have been placed in stasis for now. This is it. The end of our dream. Director Jameson has decreed the facilities are to be shut down, and even more importantly, Wizard Lionel, who holds more power than anyone here, has finally assented. All our notes, logs, and reports are to be wiped, stricken from the record like they never existed. Wizards have already started departing, one at a time at first, but gradually growing to a steady flow. Lionel hasn't taken it well. The duty has fallen to him to destroy the disruptors once and for all. I had my doubts whether he could even do it, burn the years of work, but I believe now that he will do what needs to be done. Personally, I await with anticipation the day I have scheduled to leave. Anything to get away from this horrible creature's gaze. They are out of sight in their stasis cells, but as long as I remain here, they won't be out of mind. Alright. So that's what happened there. Alright, we grabbed the resistance ring, so we have something that provides us with a bit more protection. I mean, the fur cap gives more protection from cold, but... Alright. Can't believe I'm doing this again, but... Drink it. Alright, what's down this way? Nothing in there. Nothing in there. another one of these. But there's nothing here. An old control panel sits in the corner of this room. There's a large network of arrows and lights that map out power flow in the complex. It's hard to make out the details since the buttons are mostly smashed and the diagram is faded and hard to read. You press a few buttons experimentally, but nothing happens. The one switch that does seem to be working is a large lever on the far right of the panel labeled Emergency Gate Override Enacted. At least it is the only switch not snapped off, making it the only control you could actually use. The question is whether you would want to. Flip it. The console in the center of the room sends a spurt of energy into the air, resulting in the sound of rattling machinery coughing and ratting out their dormancy. An old gate control panel sits in the corner of this room. There's a large Okay. Flip it again. Same thing. This must be this... You walk down the aisle, rows of machinery and strange glass cases flank you on either side. Broken glass from smashed cases litters the floor. Bits of bone and fur are strewn on top of the thin layer of snow that has fallen through a crack in the ceiling. From the far end of the room comes a faint pulsing light, the only machinery still working here. You stagger towards it, feeling your strength fade with each passing second, and the ever-spreading blackness creeping up your legs. This alone, of all the cases that line the room, has survived. A vial is suspended within, floating in a blue watery substance that glows from the energy flowing through it from the nearby machinery. The plaque on the lid of the case reads, Cryoprev Batch 19, for use in preventing and treating frostbite and hypothermia. Recalled. You stare into the bubbling contents of the case. This is obviously a batch of medicine, and from the plaque you'd gather that it would be exactly what the group is looking for right now. A strong blow could smash this case. Even in your present state, you could muster the strength to break it. Do you? Open it! You step back and swing your sword at the case with all your might. The glass was thick, but it was still just glass. With a tinkling smash, you send glass spraying through the room. The gelatinous liquid within spills out, leaving a small vial and a hypodermic needle syringe behind. You reach in with trembling hands to pull them out. You hold up the vial to your eyes, trying to read the label in the dark. Cryoprev, for the treatment of frostbite and hypothermia. Directions. Cryoprev is intended for injection into the afflicted limb or area. Do not inject Cryoprev in the chest or neck. For proper absorption, Cryoprev is not to be swallowed, or applied in any way save directly into the bloodstream. Warnings. Cryoprev accelerates the metabolism of energy reserves into heat. For this reason, significantly underweight patients are not to use Cryoprev. Patients diagnosed with high blood pressure should not... Side effects. Not to be taken on an empty stomach. Not to be... May result in... Your vision blurs as you try to read the label. Your legs are numb. Your head is fuzzy. So cold. So cold. What happened? Why are you on the ground? You must have fallen. Your legs can no longer hold you. Even your mind seems numb. You just want to sleep. You'll never be able to stand again, to reach the fire and the others. Slowly a thought floats to the surface of your cold, numbed brain. The vial. The medicine. What did the label say? For the treatment of frostbite and... directly into the bloodstream. With fumbling hands, you take out the syringe and punch through the top of the vial. You nearly drop it in the process, but somehow you manage to extract a dose of the Cryoprev. You don't remember reading exactly what it was that went wrong with this drug. It was supposed to be a miracle worker, but instead it wound up recalled. For injection into the afflicted limb. Whatever the reason for the recall, it can't be worse than the inevitable death you face now. You roll back the leg of your pants and cringe at the swollen and blackened limb. You plunge the needle into your deadened calf, but feel nothing. How long you lay there you don't know. The only feeling you have is of the cold air and the dripping of liquid from the smashed Cryoprev case. Then you feel something strange. Heat. Your right leg tingles with warmth. Tingles? You grab your leg and miracles of miracles, you can feel the pressure of your hand. Your hands shake with excitement as you draw another dose into the syringe and again plunge it into deadened muscle, this time your left leg. You stand to your feet. You are weak, you are hungry, you are near to collapse, but you are actually warm. No drug can give you energy you don't have, but the Cryoprev has given you use of your stubborn legs again. You need to get this to your friends before you collapse from exhaustion again. Well, we're not going to freeze to death. Quick, we need to get back. Ow. You stumble into your campsite to find that your comrades have already returned from their excursions, and now are sprawled around the fire munching on hardtack. Fabian is the first to spot you. "Vincent! We were starting to think you'd never—" "Vincent?" You see concerned faces gathered around you, but their words are just a buzz. Your head is spinning, the room and the blurred faces spin with it. Somebody shouts as your legs collapse, sending you crumpling to the ground. In your foggy stupor, only one thing occurs to you as you fall. Don't break the cryoprev. You stammer out an explanation of your discovery, your mouth working independently of your brain. You feel yourself laid down on a mat. You feel the heat of the fire. You don't feel the prick of the needles, but from the words of the people hovering over you, you know they must be sliding into your skin. "His arms, they're nearly black. Careful with... Hold this." And then the blackness of unconsciousness slides over you, and the muffled, hardly coherent voices fade altogether. You fall into a deep, dreamless sleep. How long you lay there you don't know, but eventually you must push away the comfort of the darkness and awake. You awake in a dim room, lighted only by the sunlight that filters through the slivers in the roof. You lay for a while with your eyes closed, trying to feel and assess each square inch of your body. Amazing that you're still alive, let alone feeling so healthy. You feel warm, you feel fresh, you feel like you could run a mile. You also feel uneasy. You snap open your eyes and climb to your feet, wondering why the room is so silent. You scramble to your feet in the darkness, almost slipping on a slick spot in the floor. You bend down and run your finger through it. When you hold it to your face, you can identify it easily. Blood. By the time your eyes have adjusted to the darkness, allowing you your first look at the scene around you, the charnel house around you. Blood is splattered all across the floor. Mangled bodies lie about the room. And somehow you are lying right in the middle of it all and don't even remember any fight. You allow your eyes to roam over the lurid scene, hardly blinking in your attempt to take in everything, to somehow understand what happened here. You remember nothing, just the deep sleep. Then suddenly a cacophony of screaming voices fills your head, sounds of fighting, then suddenly a great pain in your leg. Fabian shouts, then nothing. You inspect your leg where the remembered pain was and find a large scar running down your right thigh. A bite mark? There's little doubt what did this, but when? How? Why were you left alive? The elation you felt at being restored to health is long gone, replaced by a stony, silent melancholy. You don't weep, you don't mourn for your friends, you don't feel regret or sorrow. You stand covered in dried blood, but you don't even care enough to wash it off. You lick your dried lips and the metallic taste fills your mouth. A thought floats up from the foggy depths of your mind, telling you you're in shock. You ignore it. All that is left is a slow burning hatred. You cross over to one of the bodies in unfeeling silence. I'm going to end this episode here. Of all moments to end, this is quite a moment to choose to pause, but this episode's gone on long enough. Next episode we'll investigate these bodies. I hope this is just a nightmare. But that'll be in the next episode. Till then, I'm Chester44. That is Vincent. This has been a Blades of Avernum Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.